Let me tell you about my last 24 hours. So yesterday I made a video which was titled Stop Selling Music. Now a lot of you didn't quite like the title, but then you clicked on it and watched the video and that really triggered you, and I have been dealing with comments and DMs for literally the last 24 hours. Many people agree with me that we are evolving, we are going into a new time, and the time to stop selling music is now, and there is a new way which is more about streaming and merch and actually using the music to build a brand. However, I did say, change my mind. Stop selling music, this is why, change my mind. Several of you didn't want to change my mind, you just wanted to call me a Can we bleep that? Yeah. Okay. But many of you tried. And so today we're going to have a look through the comments and what I think are some of the arguments and whether I agree or whether I disagree and whether you actually still should stop selling music. So let's delve into some hate. Dan Bryan says, I don't know who you're aiming this at, but your argument was won 5 years ago, and anyone not viewing hard copies as a merch line item is fooling themselves. What you could actually help with is to suggest how new bands can realistically bootstrap a brand/collab building strategy in the modern market. Well, Dan, you would think so. This argument was won 5 years ago because music sales has been declining year on year on year, and new cars don't even have CD players. However, you can see from the 500 comments that I've had since yesterday that people don't always agree with you. People are saying that they should be selling CDs. So whilst this argument was won, tradition is holding out. People are still trying to sell music. All right, check out this bellend. Okay, so you are going to provide your services and talent free of charge from now on. New age, globalist, delusional concept and mindset. You probably need to do some hearing tests, because if you consider the free, low quality audio out there as reasonable/common sense standard for the average music consumer 2019 compared to the pro audio quality potential that you get if you buy, say, 44.1/6 FLAC, for a start, I don't know what the fuck you're on about. Reading that someone like you is in the music business is like reading about a vegetarian running steakhouses. Spelled steak wrong. Please let me know if you will do yours music business for free from now on. I do, you knobhead! This is what you are missing out. All of the videos I do, they cost me money. Everything I'm promoting, it costs me money. Guess how much money I make? Fuck all! But what I will do is monetize it elsewhere. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't sell it. I'm telling you no one's buying it. And I'm telling you nobody gives a shit about your 44.1/6 FLAC. That's just the way that it is. Go and ask a 15-year-old. Go and give him a cassette or a CD and say, go on and play it. He'll probably start trying to listen to it in his ear. That's where we're at. So you can call me what you want. But the reality is, everything music sales related other than vinyl has gone down the toilet, and vinyl's gone up because it was in a place where nobody bought vinyl. In fact, a couple of years back, if you owned vinyl, you were just a creepy, freaky weirdo that stayed in a flat. Now it's cool again. Brilliant. But that is not going to be the savior of musicians selling music. So many people are triggered at me, and it's crazy because I don't have that much influence. I didn't stop the world buying music. But what I would say is I am here to try and help you, the musician, get a clear route of what you are trying to achieve. And at the moment, if you are spending money on printing CDs which are going to be left under the bed, or spending extra time getting your music on iTunes and then not knowing how to promote it and not knowing how to promote your free stuff because you're saying to the audience it's free and for sale, if we don't have a clear path for you and a clear path for the consumer, it gets confusing and you are not doing yourself any favors. If you happen to have a team of people behind you and you can do both, great. I wouldn't do that. The only video on YouTube which says music doesn't sell. That's right. Don't you forget it. I'm the only one. Who is this Keyes bloke? Bit of a if you ask me. I mean... So Nige Bray says, so who's going to pay for the hours of studio time and every other expense that makes CDs? You. You the band, or you the artist, or possibly, if you've got a record label involved, the record label. But there's loads of expenses. What about your engineer? What about your studio? What about your producer? What about your manufacturing? Yeah, I get it, but I don't know what you want me to say. People don't buy music. It's not my fault. It's just the way the world is. People aren't buying music. We can stand up and say that's not fair, people should buy music. It won't matter. So that's what we've got to get our heads into. It doesn't matter. It costs you money. So in which case, we need to find another way. And I have got another way, or a couple of other ways that we can start to look at it, which is going to come in the next video as soon as we finish this one. This one's my personal favorite. Fuck off, you wank. Thanks, Marco. Now this one from Matt Jones is good, and Matt and I had a bit of a debate, and then he made a response video to my video, which actually was respectful, but really, really entertaining to watch. So that's on my Facebook, and we might even link it to his YouTube channel, so go and check that out. But Matt says, I didn't have a toaster when I first moved into my flat. I fancied some toast though, so I bought a toaster. Instead of uploading videos telling everyone to stop buying bread. Now, I love this, and let me just say, Matt actually does sell CDs. So the way Matt does it is with Matt's audience, with Matt's demographic, and with the way Matt wants to actually go about selling his music. He gets out there, he makes the music to the audience that will buy his music, and he has to get out there and physically sell it. He is a very good salesman, a very good musician, and he has a very good strategy. Would I recommend that to everyone on here? No, I absolutely wouldn't. Does it work for Matt? Yes, it does. Will it work for Matt in 10 years? Time will tell. And I think this is about an early adoption strategy. We're recognizing that people aren't buying music. Are we going to carry on trying to eke out the last little bits, or are we going to try and move forward? If you're saying, hey, I'm doing it, it works. Great, high five to you, brilliant, fantastic. But most people are coming to me saying, I've made my EP, I've made my album, I've put it out, what do I do next? Nothing's happening. And the problem I'm seeing is it's not a focused strategy because there's too many things that you're trying to do and too many things that you're trying to get other people to do. Buy it, watch it, sell it, come to our gig, do this, do that, do this, do that. It's not focused and it's not a strategy. So I had a really good debate with Matt on Facebook, which then led to him making a video. And it works for Matt. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but at the moment, if it works, do it. Okay, here's another argument. People who really love music, who listen to music, not just hear music, will always buy music and buy vinyl because the sound quality is better. You're talking a massive minority, and what you're talking about is a niche market of sound and tech geeks and probably musicians. So if you're a band that is specifically selling to musicians or techie people who are really sound geeks, sound nerds, then maybe. But it's diminishing. If you look at the general public who buy or listen to music, sales has been decreasing year on year on year. And we had the same argument, if you remember, anyone who's old enough, you had the same argument in the 90s when CDs came along and everyone said, ugh, sound quality of CDs is rubbish compared to vinyl. We're not getting into that rubbish. Then CDs went away and MP3s came along and everyone said, oh, sound quality is rubbish. It's not as good as CDs. Now there seems to be a resurgence of CDs wanted. It's a moot point. In the year 2000, nearly 1 billion CDs were sold. And yet in 2017, around 90 million CDs were sold. That is under 10% of what it was in the year 2000. Music CD sales are declining fast, and everyone's talking about the resurgence of vinyl. Well, relatively, it is massively up on what it was, which was naught. Nobody bought vinyl a couple of years back. It was seriously uncool, and now it's cool. And maybe people have got vinyl record players in their living room or in their bedroom. I know I have. But we're not buying music the same way as we used to buy music. Again, another example. I took your argument to my local studio. All their time was given for free. The electricity was free. The pizza delivery didn't charge. I dieseled up my van for niche. Thanks for the heads up. I used to pay people, and the plumber, classic plumber, is going to do my boiler service for the exposure. I know. I get it. It costs money. But people won't buy music. I don't know what there is that's so hard about that. Yes, you can take your CDs to a gig. And yes, you can flog your CDs at a gig. That to me is merchandise. Just like you can take your t-shirts to a gig and sell t-shirts. Will they wear your t-shirts? They may not, but they will want it as a keepsake from that gig. That is fine, but we're talking about selling music. The holistic approach to selling music, very, very difficult. Now I get what he's saying. He's saying that back in 1973, the music that he bought still rewards him. I get that. The problem is we are not in 1973 or 1983 or 1993. And we live in a generation where you swipe and you have. That's it. It's free, it's accessible, it's already happened. How are we going to deal with it? Now this debate rumbled on pretty much all day from a guy called Joao. The reason why we sell music is because it's attached to something. Respectfully, fuck right off. You have never sat in the studio 16 hours a day for 2 to 3 weeks in a row, recording an album for a band, walking off with something that barely equates a minimum wage. He also put that I'd never been a musician, I didn't know what it was like to buy loads of gear, that I've never been in a studio. He says, so if you really want to help musicians with bands and advice, what you really have to tell them is to ignore fake, ignorant assholes like yourself who post videos on Facebook. Felt he was making a few assumptions and he was a little bit angry. But I let the debate rumble on. Effectively, another person saying, it costs money, this is my livelihood, people should pay. Yeah, they should. I agree. I absolutely agree. But they don't. I don't know what you want me to do about that. They don't pay. Sorry. So that's a snapshot of some of the comments that have come through, but there were over 500. I've been dealing with them for over 24 hours. I will continue to deal with them if you haven't had a reply yet. And if you haven't seen the video, then go and check out what the fuss is all about. But on the whole, the feedback was really good. Most people were positive about it, and lots of people were fearful and scared, but understood that this selling music tradition has been going away for a long time and something new has to happen, and embraced the fact that we do need to change, and have been asking for a video on what ways that they could build a brand and monetize the brand / the music outside of physical and digital sales, which is what we are going to do literally right after this video, which will come out hopefully tomorrow. The amount of people who are living in the past saying it's unfair, or it should be like this, or it wasn't like this back in the 80s. We have to get with the times. I didn't make the rules. I am the messenger. Don't shoot me. I'm just looking at, and the reason why I feel like I am eligible to talk about this is because I get 100+ messages every single day from musicians and bands asking for advice, asking for help. I am watching the trends, and at the moment the trend is there is too much work to be done. We cannot be the artist, the creator, the creative, the manager, the PR, the social media. It all adds up. There's too much to do, so we have to start stripping it back. This is a way we can do it, is to strip things back to make things as focused and easy for yourself as possible. But there will be casualties, and one of those casualties in this strategy is trying to force people to do the thing that they don't want to do, buy music, which is very difficult for musicians to hear because they've spent so much time, effort and money creating something to then have to give it away. And I do understand, but I'm the messenger. I am not the person who made this happen. I'm just telling you the way that it is, looking at the stats that have been happening over the last 20 years. Our job is to navigate what's now, not what's in 10 years' time and not what's 5 years ago, what is now. So tomorrow we're going to make a video on 3 ways that you can build an audience and monetize what you are doing, because all hope is not lost. I'm not saying you can't make money. In fact, I'm saying you can make much more money if we actually stop fighting the system and actually do it a different way, which if we do that, we can actually make things easier for ourselves and in the long run, monetize something different and make it easier. So join me tomorrow, but more importantly, do me a favor, like, subscribe, or dislike. If you don't like it, if you think I'm an idiot, then dislike it. I've got no problem with that. Like, dislike, put a comment in, tell your friends about this debate. Let's keep this debate rumbling because I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying commenting and having the debate backwards and forwards with all of you. But otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow.